So making baits is kind of what I do nowadays. Instead of fishing, I make fishing lures. How's that for just so sad? I'm going to talk a little science this morning. How it applies to our bass fishing. I got some things I want to talk about. I've never seen this done before. We're going to talk about trailers. Double tail trailers. And hear your spin on it also. I'll be right back. It is hot and roasty toasty here in the northern part of the Ozark Plateau. We're on the northern edge. Somewhere around the middle of Arkansas is the southern edge. They got it prettier than we got. Plus, they got enough elevation change. You get up and cool down a little bit or go down. One way or another, you can cool off a little bit sometimes. I'm not an air conditioning guy. I really ain't. I don't run the air conditioner. Actually, the air conditioner in my truck ain't working very well. It needs to be charged, I reckon. I only run the heater in the wintertime. I have to defrost. I just kind of like dressing for the occasion. What's happened though in my bait lab here, which is part of my restaurant building, I built this 12 by 12 or 14 by 14 whatever room to give me some isolation. It ain't big enough either. We lost our air conditioner in this side of the building Saturday morning. Blew it up. Man, it was hot. Over 100 degrees in that kitchen Saturday night, mid 90s yesterday. We're working on that. I've tore it apart and figured out as much as I can. I'm waiting for professional help. So it's always warm in here because I have to have the window open. When you're running lead and soft plastics and the possible fumes, you got to get out of the building. So I got fans going. It's just hot. And that's just my way of saying if you see sweat running off my brow, it's not because I'm scared or lying to you. I'll tell you a little story. 1977, I believe, BSS went to the St. Lawrence Seaway for the first time to Thousand Islands. Pretty sure it was the fall of 77. I read about that in of all places, Field and Stream magazine, about the best bass fishing articles Field and Stream ever had. What it was, a guy fished a tournament as a writer, not as a pro tournament fisherman. He fished, no boater, 3 days. He talked about all his 3 days fishing, talked about who he fished with, the fish they caught, how they caught them. It was a really interesting read, especially for a kid in junior high trying to learn how to bass fish. But one thing he talked about that has sat with me ever since was a trailer, a double tail trailer, which I guess I need to do a whole video on just why we use double tail trailers. But it was by the Cat Claw Bait Company. I remember that. And he was the guy who's fishing was fishing on jig head, just a standalone bait, which still works to this day. But the Cat Claw was a different kind of double tail than even the Mr. Twister was at that time. Now I believe, very possibly, Mr. Twister may have invented the twister tail worm. I just know nobody's ever made a better twister tail than Mr. Twister did. Nowadays, you're all too thick a tail because people probably complained about not be able to catch enough fish on, they tore up. Boy, y'all, them old Mr. Twisters, they had an action unlike any bait. I've even got one of my molds that when I got it in last year, I immediately, after pouring the first baits, immediately went and got JB Weld and filled in the tail and then sanded it. It's not as pretty, but I made it about half the thickness it was because I do not like that thick tail. I have extreme good action at slow speeds. Anyway, double trailer that was different. And what it was, and this thing, I've caught so many bass on these years in several configurations. There's your standard double tail trailer. Obviously there's different designs, different shapes. That is the standard style. What the Cat Claw was this style. And what it does, instead of the tails going in, the tails go out. My idea behind this video I've had for a while is there's a science to that and why I think that's better in a lot of reasons. For one thing, the biggest thing is hydrodynamics. How's that for a scientific word? The way water flows. A bass boat hull lifted in the water is the science is hydrodynamics, the way the water affects something. When those tails are turned out, they just flat catch more water than the ones turned in. This one's running in its own drag of the bait or whatever. It's fairly minor, but it is a difference. So especially in my more subtle presentations, like I make these, I should have brought one in the hula grub style, my Waikiki, my aloha grub I make. I use these almost exclusively now because at slow speeds, like wintertime fish, and those are cold water baits, them tails out just have more action. Okay? And that's the video. Thanks for watching. See, that's how a guy like me ought to do videos, because that's all that really is to it. In my take, this bait has more action than this bait. Now, all the years I've caught fish on these, because I could not find, nobody else has hardly ever made a bait. This is a custom, not a custom, this is a mold I had to buy. It just, even hanging, you can see it's a different kind of, look at that. It's got more action sitting static. Isn't that awesome? I still use these. I still make these. I like them in a lot of situations. On a swim jig is when a double tail for me is about the best. I never was one as a spinnerbait trailer, but a buzzbait trailer or a standalone body. Everybody go to these toads and stuff. I use this as just the body, especially when the fish are biting short and not just slapping at that buzzbait. Give it a little less target. That thing right there as a buzzbait body. Oh yeah, but on a buzzbait, either way, they both work because there's a lot of water flowage. I guess the point is, from a perspective of a finesse standpoint, this is better than this. I have caught so many fish on these things over the years on the back of a jig. Especially, my favorite is on the football head or on a heavier jig, fishing a little bit deeper. They got better action falling in a lot of trailers. They're still fairly compact. They keep the bait in a smaller profile. Now, I never was one to flip them much. I wanted something a little meatier than that. I don't think I got much more to talk about. The idea that a trailer can make that much of a difference is nothing new. Randy has done a bunch of videos, and I've been hesitant to do my jig videos like I want because Randy has done actual workshop videos, and they're excellent. He does things different than I do, which probably means I'm doing it wrong. But I'm going to be doing more videos like that. And so kind of step into my jig stuff is talking about the trailers themselves and the differences they make and what to look for. I don't know any company that's making that kind of a trailer with the bend out as far as production right now. Probably somebody is, but I haven't seen it. Bitter's Baits had one, and I ordered some first time years ago. Ordered a bunch. I ordered like 16 different packages and a bunch of different colors. I got 2 packages, and I still got some of those in that new penny, the copper color. I ordered them again next time. I didn't get them. Apparently discontinued. Nobody's buying them. I'd like to have that mold. But this mold's pretty cool too. It works pretty well. So the double tail trailer, if you haven't used one, I don't mean buying. Other companies make them. I saw some at Walmart a while back. Culprit or Zoom or somebody had one. As a standalone bait on a jig head, nobody does that. I'm telling you, this thing on a jig head, whether it's a shaky head or a weedless head, just fishing that thing as a standalone bait. How many people are doing that? It looks like a freaking crawdad. How many people are doing that? Not very many. As a trailer, on a jig or on a buzz bait, awesome. On a chatterbait, I did it one time and the fish smoked it. I haven't had a chance to do it since. It was a fine bladed jig trailer. I mean, freaking crazy, action-wise. I've got away from the paddle tail, the swim bait trailers on my. I don't fish chatterbait enough to say anything, but I have got away from it paddle tail. I really have. Yeah, this is the way to go. Anyway, I just wanted to touch base with y'all on that. I'm thinking about it as I'm making baits. Been thinking about this for weeks, actually months, because this mold, it makes such a pretty bait. And I'm pouring it mostly as a part with I should have brought one, with the skirted grub. I call mine Waikiki and Aloha grubs because hula grub and chompers, I don't use their names. Mine are different, so I use different names. And cool names are cool, right? Not really. It is what it is. But I've been thinking about it for a long time, so that's my video. Pretty short and sweet, hopefully. Let me know what y'all use. Again, this time of year in about October when the fish are a little bit deeper in a jig, That is a fantastic trailer on a jig, fishing 10 to whatever feet of water. I think that's all. I'm gonna go back to making baits. Got some orders to fill. I really appreciate the guys that ordered baits. Everything y'all want to talk about as far as baits, link it to my website in the description below. But I don't take orders on my website. You gotta talk to me. You gotta visit with me because it's custom. I have a lot of stuff in stock, but I have to make stuff. Also, SolarBat has a sale, Labor Day sale, 30% off again, including scripts. And if you spend $98, you get a free pair of safety glasses. And if you use my promo code, okay, you get free shipping. It's kind of a neat, balanced out deal. God bless. I'm going to go back to making some baits and probably sweating a little bit. Shaved all my hair off. Don't have to worry about ugly hair no more either. Peace. God bless.